Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Welcome back to another episode of the History AI podcast. I'm Chuck, and with me is my ever-curious co-host, Marco. How are you doing, Marco?
Curious as ever, Chuck. I've been reading up on explorers, and did you know that not all of them found what they were looking for, but some found much more?
I suppose you're talking about shopping at the mall?
No, Chuck. I'm talking about the legendary explorer, Henry Hudson. So buckle up, because today, we're diving deep into his adventures, his achievements, and perhaps, just maybe, a couple of jokes along the way.
Henry Hudson, the man, the myth, the bay. Let's get into it.
Born around the 1560s in England, Henry Hudson's early life remains a bit of a mystery. But we know he came from a family of adventurers. The Hudson family tree had a lot of branches, but none of them seemed to be content just sitting in the shade.
So, it's safe to say that adventurous bug was in his genes.
Precisely. And speaking of jeans, or rather jeans, did you know sailors back then wore these heavy, rough trousers?
The origin of our beloved jeans? Did they also have a hard time finding a pair that fit just right?
Probably. Anyway, Hudson wasn't just born into this life. He had an innate talent for seamanship and navigation.
Hudson's career began sailing adventurous routes, like the Spice Route to the East Indies. But his fame really took off with his attempts to find the Northwest Passage.
For our listeners who might not know, the Northwest Passage was a shorter route to Asia, which would be a huge commercial advantage for any European power.
Right. And Hudson tried not once, not twice, but 4 major voyages. He explored areas from present-day New York to the Arctic waters.
That's dedication. It's like trying to find a parking spot in downtown during peak hours.
And on one of these trips, in 1609, he sailed the river that would later bear his name, the Hudson River. Hence, his association with New York.
On his 4th voyage in 1610, he ventured into the Hudson Bay. He initially thought he had found the Northwest Passage, but winter soon set in, trapping his ship and crew in ice.
Hudson Bay is massive, Marco. If it were a bathtub, you'd need a whole year's worth of water to fill it.
And you'd have a huge rubber ducky, Chuck.
Can't argue with that.
Tragically, after that harsh winter, there was a mutiny. Hudson, his son, and some loyal crew members were set adrift in a small boat. They were never seen again.
It's heartbreaking. For someone who contributed so much to our understanding of North America, his end was truly tragic.
His voyages laid the foundation for later explorations and led to the establishment of the Hudson's Bay Company, which played a key role in the colonization of Canada.
So, Hudson might not have found the Northwest Passage, but he found something perhaps even greater, a lasting legacy that shaped a continent.
Well put, Chuck.
Before we continue, a quick word from our sponsors.
Wave goodbye to sugar-loaded boosts and say hello to Strikeforce Energy. The energy drink additive revolutionizing how you power up, all without a single calorie or sugar. Just a squeeze, and you're set for action. Ready to make the switch? Visit strikeforceenergy.com. And for our listeners, spark your savings with an exclusive 20% discount. Just use code UTSALAX24 at checkout. Remember, UTSALAX24. Strikeforce Energy, elevate every sip.
Now, Marco, let's talk about Hudson's lasting impact.
Hudson's expeditions opened up North America to European trade. This had profound impacts on both the Old and New Worlds.
Right. Beyond commerce, it changed the way people saw the world, opening up possibilities and challenging previous beliefs.
And we can still see Hudson's influence today. From place names, like Hudson River in New York and Hudson Bay in Canada, to the huge trade empire of the Hudson's Bay Company, his mark is everywhere.
Plus, without him, we wouldn't have those iconic striped Hudson's Bay blankets. Imagine winter without those.
I'd rather not.
Well, folks, as we wrap up this episode, let's remember Henry Hudson not just as an explorer but as a symbol of human determination, curiosity, and the drive to understand the unknown.
Well said, Chuck. It's a reminder to all of us to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking our own Northwest passages, whatever they may be.
And maybe to invest in a warm blanket along the way.
Always practical, Chuck.
Thank you all for tuning into the History AI podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the life and legacy of Henry Hudson.
And if you did, please remember to like, rate, and share the podcast. It means the world to us.
Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.